Hotel registration. Hey, you go check into a hotel or a motel and you register. But can anybody find out that you are registered at that hotel? Well, that takes us to this week's case. Involves an ordinance that existed in Los Angeles. Los Angeles City had an ordinance by which anybody who ran a hotel had to keep a register of everybody who came to that hotel along with contact information. Well, one of the hotels raised a question, and they said, hang on a second, we think this is violative of the Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment prevents unlawful searches and seizures, and the police cannot just come in and look at these hotel registrations. Okay. On the other side of that coin, the city of Los Angeles said, no, this really isn't a violation of the Fourth Amendment because, first of all, we have an interest. We have an interest in seeing that the city basically is without crime. Hotels, motels, sure, it's a lot of people staying there, but there are a lot of people who stay at those hotels who can engage in unlawful activity, whether it's drugs, prostitution, human trafficking. So if everybody has to register and give contact information that's verified with a photo ID, then we know who's there, and that will prevent people from just coming into hotels and feeling they can do that without anybody finding out who they are. In order, of course, to make that happen, the city additionally said we have to be able to inspect those hotel registrations to see who is actually there and make sure that the hotels are keeping these registrations. On the other side, the hotels argued, well, wait. This is information that we compile. It's information that we as a private entity, as a private hotel, we maintain it, and when you come in and ask for it, you have to have basically judicial approval to ask for it. You can't simply require that we turn it over because to do so would be a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Well, interestingly enough, this case wound its way through the court system and got all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court. And this was a case that was recently decided at the end of the term that concluded in June 2015. It's a case that kind of flew under the radar. The court considered these two arguments, basically the arguments on behalf of the city of Los Angeles that said, we have a state interest in doing this, an interest in seeing that crime doesn't take place, and in order to see that that doesn't take place, we need to know who's staying at the hotels. We need to have good contact information. On the other side, the hotels argued, hey, it's our registry, and we don't have to turn it over unless we're compelled to do so by a court. Well, the court looked at both of these, and one of the other arguments that was made by the city of Los Angeles, which some people will view as a technical argument, was that this isn't a case that arose that was fact specific. It wasn't that somebody said our hotel registry was taken away from us unlawfully. No, it was that the hotel owner came forward and said out of the blue, this is an unlawful ordinance, and on its face it's unlawful. And when you have that kind of a situation that isn't fact specific, the courts are a little hesitant to consider them. Well, in this instance, the U.S. Supreme Court did consider it. They said that on its face, we find that the ordinance is unconstitutional. And we additionally find that in order to be enforced, while there certainly is a state interest, as is argued by the city of Los Angeles in seeing that crime is prevented, well, that can be accomplished by going into a court and having the court grant a search warrant. Okay. So what do we learn from this case? What do we learn from this case? Again, we learn the importance of the Fourth Amendment, that in the United States, the right to those documents, that information that you acquire, that you put together, government cannot come in and take that information, cannot intrude into that information without your permission. And here it was a case where the hotels and motels said, we're not going to turn that stuff over unless a court compels us to do so. Now, they can, of course, turn it over voluntarily at any given time, but they don't have to turn it over, and they will only turn it over when a court basically issues a search warrant. Hey, we bring you this case, we bring cases every week, so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.